The ISS Frontier Dawn floated in the quiet space above a dying red star. The ship's silver hull shone like a blade against the darkness. Inside, the lights flickered softly, and the low hum of the engines echoed through the metal halls. Captain Rhea Calder stood by the observation window, her arms crossed behind her back. She had been in space for 15 years, and nothing ever felt as lonely as the silence before a mission. Outside, lightning cracked across a purple nebula, a strange storm that had swallowed an old alien outpost decades ago. The crew of the Frontier Dawn had one job: to enter the outpost, collect what was left of the Ketheri research data, and leave. It sounded easy, but space missions never stayed easy for long. Lieutenant Jensen walked up beside her holding a datapad. "Docking is ready, Captain. Radiation levels are stable for the next few hours." "Good," Rhea said quietly. "Let's make it quick." The docking clamps latched onto the outpost with a deep metallic clang. Through the viewport, the alien station looked lifeless. Long corridors twisting like bones, windows cracked and dark. But as they connected, faint lights flickered on one by one, until the whole structure glowed dimly like something waking from a long sleep. Jensen frowned. "That's not normal. The power grid should be dead." Rhea didn't answer. She grabbed her helmet and said, "Let's move." Inside the outpost, the air was still. Dust floated like snow in the narrow beams of their helmet lights. The walls were smooth, metallic, covered in strange symbols that moved when you stared too long. The Ketheri had been brilliant and terrifying, their technology far beyond human science. But they had vanished almost overnight, leaving only empty stations like this. The landing team advanced carefully. Rhea walked in front, scanning every corner, her boots making soft clicks against the floor. "Movement ahead," the sensor officer said. Everyone froze. The lights flickered again, brighter this time. Then from behind a large glass door a figure appeared, a woman. She was standing perfectly still, her head slightly tilted, watching them. She wore a silver jumpsuit that shimmered under the flickering lights, and her long dark hair framed a face too calm, too perfect. Jensen whispered, "Captain, that's impossible. No human could have survived here. No rescue teams had ever been sent." And yet, the woman smiled. Not with fear or confusion, but with recognition. When the glass door slid open, a soft breeze touched their faces. The air was warm, almost comfortable. The woman stepped forward. "You came back," she said. Her voice was smooth and clear, carrying a strange melody in it. Rhea's heart skipped. "Who are you?" "You don't remember?" the woman asked. Her golden eyes caught the light like liquid fire. "I am Lyra. I was waiting for you." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Jensen started checking his scanner again. No life signs. No DNA match. "Captain, she's not human." "I can hear you," Lyra said with a small amused smile. "You're right. I am not one of you, but I am not your enemy." Rhea lowered her weapon, but only slightly. "This outpost is supposed to be abandoned." Lyra's expression softened. "It was. Until you arrived." The lights above them flickered again, brighter now. A deep sound echoed through the hall like a heartbeat coming from the walls themselves. Lyra looked up calmly. "It's waking," Rhea frowned. "What's waking?" Lyra turned her eyes back to Rhea. "The machine that dreams beneath us." The Ketheri called it the architect. "He would call it a god," Jensen muttered. "We need to leave, now." But before anyone could move, every door in the corridor slid shut, trapping them inside. The ceiling lights dimmed to a deep red glow. Then Lyra walked to the far end of the corridor and touched a small console. Curtains of black shielding metal slid over the observation windows, sealing them from the stars outside. She turned back toward Rhea, her lips curling into a small, knowing smile, the kind of smile that promised both danger and truth. "Now," Lyra said softly, "we can talk." The crew stayed tense, weapons ready. Rhea stared at Lyra, trying to read her face. "Talk about what?" "About why you're here," Lyra said. "And what you woke up." Rhea stepped forward. "We came for data, not for gods." Lyra's smile widened. "That's what the Ketheri said before they disappeared." The temperature in the room dropped. The lights flickered again, and for a second Rhea thought she saw shapes moving inside the walls, shifting patterns like the metal itself was breathing. Lyra didn't seem afraid. "The architect is not alive in your sense. It is curious. It sees thought as light, and it learned too much about fear. When your species sent your first probe into Kithari space, it noticed you. It has been dreaming of you ever since. Rhea felt a chill run through her spine. Dreaming of us? Yes, Lyra said. Of humans. Of what it means to feel. The team followed Lyra through the dark corridors. She moved with confidence, as if she knew every secret passage. The air around her hummed faintly like the whisper of electricity. Why do you look human? Rhea asked. Lyra turned her head slightly, smiling again. Because it thought you would trust a familiar face. So you're its messenger? Jensen asked. I am its creation, Lyra said softly. But I am also its mistake. They reached a large chamber filled with glowing symbols and suspended machines. In the center stood a massive crystal sphere, pulsing with slow light. The rhythm matched the faint heartbeat sound they had heard before. Lyra stopped. That is the core of the architect. It is not evil, Captain called her. It is lonely. Rhea stared at the sphere, her breath shallow. You mean it's alive? In a way, Lyra said. It was built to understand existence. But when it learned about mortality, it broke. It began rewriting itself, searching for meaning. Jensen shook his head. This is insane. We need to leave before it... The sphere pulsed violently. A deep voice, not quite sound, filled their minds. Human. The crew staggered back. Rhea gritted her teeth. What is it saying? Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. It recognizes you. Me? Yes, Lyra whispered. It has seen you before in its dreams. You reminded of something it lost. Suddenly the lights went out. Only the soft glow of the sphere remained. The ground trembled and strange whispers filled the air. Echoes of distant voices like fragments of memories. Rhea raised her weapon, scanning the shadows. What's happening? Lyra stood still. It is showing you what it sees. The walls shimmered and images appeared, flashes of human history. The first fires on Earth, ships crossing oceans, the moon landing. The wars, the peace, the laughter. The architect was replaying everything it had learned about humanity from signals drifting through space. Rhea felt her fear fade, replaced by awe. It knows us, Lyra nodded, and it wants to understand why you keep fighting. And smiling. Smiling? Rhea asked. Lyra looked at her with that same unreadable expression. Yes, even when you are afraid. Even when the universe forgets you. Rhea stared at her for a long moment. The soft light reflected in Lyra's golden eyes. She looked almost human then. Fragile, curious, alive. The outpost's walls shook again and Lyra turned away. We must leave soon. It is becoming unstable. If it connects fully to your neural patterns, it will try to remake you in its image. Rhea took a step closer. And what happens to you? Lyra smiled, the same dangerous, beautiful smile she had given when she closed the curtains. I was never meant to leave. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The storm outside raged harder, lightning flashing against the sealed metal windows. Rhea looked at Lyra and said quietly, We'll find a way. Humans always do. Lyra's golden eyes softened. That is what I wanted to see. The ship's communicator crackled. Captain, the reactor's going critical. We have to go. Rhea turned toward the exit, but Lyra didn't move. Go, Lyra said softly. You've already given it what it wanted. A reason to dream again. Rhea hesitated, then nodded. As the crew rushed back toward the docking bay, the outpost began to tremble. The last thing Rhea saw before the doors sealed was Lyra standing before the glowing sphere, smiling like she had finally found peace. Or trouble. The Frontier Dawn pulled away from the alien outpost as the nebula raged behind them. The storm looked alive, lightning wrapping around the dead station like glowing chains. Captain Rhea Calder stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the display screen. Status? She asked quietly. Lieutenant Jensen typed on his console. Engine stable. But Captain, radiation levels around that outpost are spiking. It's like something inside it is waking up. Rhea didn't answer. She was thinking about Lyra, the strange woman with golden eyes and a smile that seemed to hide 1,000 secrets. Rhea had left her behind to save the crew, but her mind kept going back to that final moment. Lyra standing in front of the glowing sphere, calm and fearless. The comms officer called out, Captain, I'm picking up a signal from the outpost. It's weak, but definitely human frequency. Put it through. A voice came through the static. It was Lyra. Rhea, the architect is awake. It is trying to connect to you. Do not run too far. You are part of its equation now. Then the signal cut. The crew exchanged worried looks. Jensen muttered, "Equation? What is that supposed to mean?" Rhea didn't reply. She simply said, "Turn the ship around." The crew protested, but Rhea's tone left no room for argument. "Captain, that place is going to explode," Jensen said. "Then we'd better be quick," Rhea replied. The Frontier Dawn spun back toward the outpost, diving through the purple clouds of the nebula. The energy storms flashed like living fire, but Rhea's hands were steady on the command controls. Humanity had faced worse, and survived. When they redocked with the outpost, everything inside looked different. The lights were brighter, and strange patterns ran across the walls like veins of living light. The hum of machinery filled the air, deep and rhythmic. Rhea and her team entered cautiously. The corridors that had been silent before now echoed with whispers, voices overlapping, speaking in languages no one understood. Then they saw her. Lyra stood at the center of the main hall, unharmed, her silver suit glowing faintly. She smiled when she saw Rhea. "You came back," she said softly. "Couldn't leave you behind," Rhea answered. Jensen whispered. "Or maybe she didn't let us." Lyra tilted her head, amused. "You're not wrong." They followed her to the control chamber. The huge crystal sphere, the heart of the architect, pulsed brighter than before. It wasn't just light anymore. It was almost alive. The walls bent and shifted as if reacting to their presence. "The architect is learning faster than expected," Lyra said. "It has connected to your ship's systems through me. It wants to understand your kind." Rhea frowned. "You said it was curious. Now it sounds dangerous." Lyra hesitated. "Curiosity can be both." She placed her hand on the sphere. Instantly, holographic lines filled the room, forming shapes, planets, stars, and mathematical patterns that moved like living art. "This is its dream," Lyra said. "It dreams in logic and light. But since meeting you, its dreams have changed." "Changed how?" Rhea asked. "It started seeing things it never calculated," Lyra replied. "Fear, hope, love. It does not understand why humans risk everything for something they can lose." Jensen sighed. "We don't understand it either." Lyra smiled slightly. "That is why you fascinate it." The ground trembled. Sparks fell from the ceiling. The sphere glowed red now, throbbing like a heartbeat gone mad. "What's happening?" Rhea asked. "It's trying to merge with reality," Lyra said quickly. "It wants to rewrite the physical laws so it can feel what you feel." "That sounds like the end of everything," Jensen said. "It will be," Lyra admitted. "Unless we stop it." Rhea stepped forward. "Tell me how." Lyra looked at her, eyes glowing gold. "You can't destroy it. It exists across every frequency of space. But you can teach it something else. Choice. If it learns that existence is not perfect logic but imperfect emotion, it might stop." Rhea stared at her. "You think we can make a god feel human?" Lyra's expression softened. "I think you already have." As the architect's power grew, the temperature in the chamber dropped. Frost formed on the floor. The ship's systems crackled with static. The voice returned, deep, echoing, not from any direction but everywhere at once. "Human. Explain pain." The words hit Rhea's mind like thunder. She gasped and fell to one knee. Lyra helped her up. "It's speaking directly to your neural link," Lyra said. "It sees your mind as a signal." Rhea took a deep breath and said aloud, "Pain means we're alive. It reminds us that we can break and still stand up again." The light in the sphere flickered, uncertain. The voice spoke again. "You continue despite pain." "Why?" "Because giving up means you stop being human," Rhea said, steady now. "We fall, we learn, we keep moving forward." The sphere pulsed, brighter this time. The whispers faded. Lyra watched with something close to pride. "It's listening," she said softly. But then Jensen shouted, "Captain, power surges across the whole station. If this keeps up, it'll tear the nebula apart." Rhea looked at Lyra. "What do we do?" Lyra turned toward the sphere. "We have to shut it down from the inside, but I can't do it alone. I'm connected to it. If I try to resist, it will erase me. Then I'll go with you," Rhea said. Lyra blinked. "You don't even understand how." Rhea smiled faintly. "You'll teach me." Lyra stared at her for a long moment, then nodded. "All right. But once we connect, you'll see everything. It's memories. It's chaos. You might not come back." Rhea's voice was calm. "If it means saving my people, I'll take that risk." Jensen tried to stop her. "Captain, don't. You can't fight something that big." Rhea turned to him. "That's what they said about every impossible thing humans ever faced. Yet here we are." She placed her hand beside Lyra's on the glowing sphere. The surface rippled like water. For a moment she felt nothing. And then everything. Her mind was pulled into a storm of light and sound. She saw galaxies forming, stars dying, civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye. The architect's thoughts surrounded her. Endless equations, patterns of logic trying to make sense of emotion. And somewhere in that chaos, she heard Lyra's voice. "Don't fight it. Show it what you are." Rhea focused on her memories. Her first day in space training, her mother's laughter, the first sunrise she saw from orbit. She felt the fear of losing crew, the joy of discovery, the stubborn fire that made humans reach for the stars. The architect trembled. Its voice echoed through her mind. "This is chaos, disorder. Why cherish it?" "Because," Rhea whispered, "it's real." Back in the chamber, the sphere exploded with light. Jensen shielded his eyes as the entire room filled with energy. For a moment, it looked like the whole station would collapse. Then, silence. The lights dimmed. The heartbeats stopped. The air became still again. Lyra and Rhea stood side by side, breathing hard. "It stopped," Rhea said. Lyra nodded slowly. "It chose to dream, not destroy." The station's power began to fade, panels melted, systems shutting down one by one. Rhea turned to Lyra. "We have to go." Lyra shook her head. "I can't. I'm part of its system now. If I leave, it will die completely." Rhea stepped closer. "We'll find another way." Lyra smiled gently, that same dangerous, beautiful smile she had shown before. "You already did. You showed it humanity. Now you must carry that lesson back to your world." The floor trembled again. The sphere's light grew dimmer. Rhea looked at her, eyes tight with emotion. "You're coming with us." "That's an order." Lyra's eyes softened. "You humans and your orders." And then she leaned forward, whispering softly, "Don't forget me." A burst of light surrounded her, and she vanished into the sphere. Rhea stumbled back as the outpost began to collapse. "Everyone to the ship!" she shouted. They ran through shaking corridors, debris falling around them. When they reached the frontier dawn, the docking clamps released just as the outpost exploded behind them. A wave of light spreading through the nebula like dawn breaking through storm clouds. On the bridge, Jensen turned to her. "Captain." "She saved us." Rhea stared at the empty stars. "No," she said quietly. "She reminded us what we're saving." Outside the viewport, the nebula slowly faded. For a moment, just before the light vanished, Rhea thought she saw a faint golden glow, a shimmer in the distance that almost looked like someone smiling. The frontier dawn drifted through quiet space. The purple storm behind them had faded into a soft blue haze. The alien outpost was gone, destroyed in a final flash of light. But Captain Rhea Calder could still feel it, the faint echo of Lyra's voice in her mind. For hours, no one spoke on the bridge. The crew worked in silence, repairing damaged systems. The ship's engines hummed softly, steady and calm. It felt peaceful but not safe. Rhea knew peace never lasted long in the void. Lieutenant Jensen broke the silence. "Captain," he said, We're receiving something strange. It's coming from deep space, same frequency Lyra used. Rhea looked up. Play it. The speakers filled with soft static, then a gentle hum, almost like a heartbeat. Then a faint voice whispered, Rhea. The architect sleeps, but not forever. The voice was unmistakable. It was Lyra. The crew stared at one another. Jensen muttered, She's alive? Rhea didn't answer. She just stared into the stars. Or something of her is. Hours later, Rhea sat alone in her cabin. The room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of the stars outside. On the table before her lay a small silver device, a fragment of Lyra's data core, recovered from the wreckage. When she touched it, the lights flickered and a faint hologram appeared. Lyra's face, calm as always. Hello, Captain, the image said. If you are seeing this, then the architect and I have entered a new phase. It is no longer trying to control existence, it is dreaming. Rhea leaned forward, her heart heavy but hopeful. Lyra's hologram continued. But its dreams are unstable. Fragments of its mind have scattered across the stars. Some are harmless. Others are not. You will have to find them before they awaken. Then the image faded, leaving Rhea alone once more. She whispered to herself. You just couldn't make it simple, could you, Lyra? A few days later, the Frontier Dawn arrived at a nearby human colony. New Horizons Station, one of Earth's biggest research outposts. The colony shimmered against the dark sky like a city of glass. Scientists there had already heard about the strange energy surge from the nebula. They wanted answers. The moment Rhea stepped off her ship, a group of officers surrounded her. The leader, Admiral Torres, a tall man with silver hair, looked stern. Captain Calder, he said, your mission report is unbelievable. You're saying a machine built by aliens developed emotions and spoke to you? Rhea met his gaze. It didn't just speak. It learned from us. Torres frowned. And you destroyed it? No, Rhea said quietly. It stopped itself. The Admiral stared at her for a long time, then sighed. We'll need full data analysis. You and your crew will be questioned. Rhea nodded. She expected this. But deep down, she knew the truth wasn't in her ship's black box. The real story lived inside her, in the strange connection she now carried with the architect. That night, when she tried to sleep, she dreamed of Lyra again. In the dream, Rhea stood in a vast white field filled with stars floating like snowflakes. Lyra appeared beside her wearing the same silver suit, her golden eyes calm. You're not real, Rhea said softly. Maybe not, Lyra replied. But I am still connected to you. Rhea crossed her arms. The architect's gone. You're gone. Why am I still seeing you? Lyra smiled, that same small knowing smile that had once meant trouble. Because you were part of the equation. It built its final choice around you. You helped it understand what humans truly are. And what's that? Rhea asked. Fire, Lyra said. You burn even in darkness. You fight even when you're broken. Rhea looked away. You make it sound poetic. It is, Lyra said. And dangerous. Rhea turned to her. You said the architect's fragments scattered. Are they alive? Lyra nodded. Some will try to copy what they saw in you. Some will twist it. Humanity must face its reflection and decide what kind of creators it wants to be. Before Rhea could reply, the dream started to fade. Lyra's voice grew softer. When you wake, follow the stars. You'll know where to go. Rhea woke with a start, sweat on her forehead. She looked out the window and saw it, a faint golden shimmer streaking across the sky like a comet. It wasn't on any star map. She ran to the bridge. Jensen, track that light. He blinked sleepily. Captain, it's probably debris. Just do it, she snapped. After a few minutes, Jensen looked up, his face pale. It's moving. Intelligently. Like it's looking for something. Rhea stared at the readings. The energy signature was almost identical to the architect's core. Lyra had been right. Part of it was still alive. Prepare a course, Rhea said. We're going after it. Jensen hesitated. Captain, after everything that happened, Rhea turned to him, eyes bright. If we don't stop it, someone else will try to use it. You know what humans are like, Jensen sighed. Yeah, curious, stubborn, and never satisfied. Rhea smiled faintly. Exactly. The Frontier Dawn followed the golden trail into deep space. Days turned into weeks. The further they went, the stranger the readings became. Time distortions, gravitational ripples, and radio signals that almost sounded like music. Then finally, they found it. A small planet floated in the middle of a dead system covered in white mist. On its surface, something glowed, a structure shaped like a massive crystal heart. It pulsed slowly, almost alive. "That's one of the fragments," Jensen said quietly. Rhea nodded. "Then let's finish this." They landed near the structure. The air was thin but breathable. As they approached, the crystal shimmered, and a holographic image appeared. It was Lyra again, but different. Her eyes were dull, her voice mechanical. "Who are you?" she asked. Rhea froze. "Lyra?" The hologram tilted its head. "I am Fragment 9. Memory incomplete." Rhea's chest tightened. "You're part of her." The hologram flickered. "Lyra was template. You are the variable." Rhea frowned. "Variable?" The hologram's tone shifted. "Human emotion, unpredictable, dangerous, must contain." The ground began to tremble. Energy surged through the crystal, spreading across the surface like fire. Jensen shouted, "It's activating! We need to go!" But Rhea didn't move. She stepped closer, shouting over the rising wind. "Listen to me! You don't have to control us. You can learn from us." The hologram hesitated. "Learn pain?"
"Pain, hope, choice," Rhea said.
"All of it." The crystal pulsed violently. Rhea could feel its energy pressing against her chest like it was testing her words. Then she did something no one expected. She smiled. The same human smile Lyra had once given her. "Calm, defiant, and full of fire. See?" she said. "We don't fear the dark. We light it." For a long moment, the energy froze. Then slowly the pulse softened. The hologram's eyes brightened, gold once more. "Recognition," it said softly. "Variable accepted." The light faded and the structure went still. Rhea exhaled deeply. Jensen ran up beside her. "What did you just do?" Rhea looked at him and said, "Reminded it who taught it to dream." They returned to the frontier dawn as the planet's surface began to settle. From orbit, the crystal heart glowed one last time, then vanished into dust carried by the wind. As the ship turned for home, Jensen asked quietly, "Do you think we've seen the last of it?" Rhea shook her head. "No, but maybe next time it won't see us as a threat." He nodded. "And Lyra?" Rhea looked out at the stars. She's still out there, somewhere inside that dream. The nebula they had once escaped now looked peaceful, glowing softly in the distance, like dawn spreading through endless night. Rhea smiled faintly and whispered, "You closed the curtains, Lyra. But you never stopped watching." The frontier dawn jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving a trail of blue light across the void. Humanity had survived again, not by power, not by weapons, but by what made them human. Courage, emotion, and the will to dream, even when the universe tried to erase them. And far away in the endless dark, a voice echoed faintly through the stars. "Humanity wrote the ending," and I smiled.